Hey there! Today, I would like to introduce you to the movie Soldier Boy, based on the true story of the youngest warrior of the World War II. The film begins in Russia, where a family of three is sitting by the river enjoying their time. The youngest of them, Sergei, is bragging to his older brother and mother that he is sitting in a tree when suddenly German fighter jets fly overhead. The mother asks her children to quickly hide in the bushes, but the 6-year-old claims he is not afraid and hits the jet with a slingshot. To everyone's surprise, he manages to hit the jets and make them explode, but when he looks around, his family is gone. Sergei wakes up from his dream startled and calls for his mother. At that moment, someone knocks on his door. He thinks it is his mother and runs to the door, but a neighbor comes in a panic. She thanks God for keeping him alive and tells him that his mother and brother are dead. The little boy does not understand what she is saying and wants to stay in the house to wait for his mother. The woman tells him that the Germans attacked them and that he should run away. At that moment, some soldiers approach their house. The woman gets Sergei to flee through the window, but is shot before she can follow him. The little 6-year-old is now on his own, without family or friends. As Sergei runs out of the house, he sees the whole neighborhood burning behind him. He calls for his mother in vain and runs away from there. After running for a while, he ends up in the middle of the forest. The little boy starts calling for his mother to come and get him, because he is lost. That night he stays in the jungle. The next morning, we see him drinking water from a river as the enemy soldiers approach his path. Knowing they are dangerous, Sergei quickly hides under the roots of a tree. He is frightened when a snake comes near him, but he does not say a word or run away. Sergei is more afraid of the soldiers than of the snake. The soldiers eat by the river and leave, whereupon Sergei takes their leftover food and devours it for the night. But at the end of the day, the little boy is exhausted. He has not had a proper meal in 2 days and has been walking with no destination. He falls down and limps, but he does not stop walking. On the way, he sees wild berries and devours them. But at that moment, an explosion sounds behind him, surprising him. The boy becomes dizzy and begins to hallucinate that someone is behind him. But even in this situation, he is brave and tells the person that he has a gun and is not afraid. He limps forward, but after a while he passes out. While he is sleeping, 2 soldiers approach him. The scene cuts to the Russian army base, where Commander Kuznetsov is waiting for his patrol. They come in with a little boy, who is injured and weak. When the soldiers claim they are on his side, the little boy opens up and introduces himself. The soldiers laugh as the boy shakes the commander's hand and suggests that he also introduce himself. The soldiers are drawn to the little boy and circle him. They let him drink water and feed him. Even the usually cold commander cares for the child. A nurse named Katya tends to Sergei's wounds and is also taken with his personality. The boy asks her to paint a tank on his wounds because he wants to be a soldier when he grows up. Even the wounded soldiers talk to the boy and feel lighter. Sergei is fascinated by the commander's gun and its charge. The commander also answers all the little boy's questions and lets him play with his honor pistol after he takes out the bullets. Sergei shows him the tank drawn on his belly and brags about being a soldier himself. The boy heals very quickly. Nurse Katya asks the commander to leave the boy with the battalion, but he refuses, saying that it is not safe. He wants to send Sergei to an orphanage. The soldiers spend all their free time with Sergei. He is visited by many throughout the day. They bring him food that their families have sent from afar, and even let him play with their binoculars. One day, a soldier goes to the commander to ask him to leave the boy with the battalion. The soldiers have formed a close relationship with the boy and consider him their own son. His presence takes the burden of war off their shoulders. However, the commander insists on sending the boy to an orphanage for his own safety. The next day, the enemies attack and many soldiers are injured. A vehicle picks up Sergei to take him to the orphanage. The commander tells the boy the news and presents him with a wooden honorary pistol. The boy in turn embraces him and claims that he is concerned for the commander's safety. The commander melts in his embrace and changes his mind. He asks Sergei to stay with the soldiers as his son. That night, the soldiers search for small soldier clothes for the little boy. They are overjoyed that Sergei is allowed to stay with them. The commander wakes Sergei up and gives him the clothes. He wears them and runs around looking like a real soldier. The others start calling him their little soldier boy. As the boy runs around, the Germans launch an air raid on the battalion. The soldiers quickly take Sergei to a safe place and fight the others. The number of injured soldiers quickly increases. Sergei wants to be useful, so he brings water to thirsty soldiers. One of them asks him to read a letter from his family because he has a bandage over his eyes. The little boy wants to help, but he cannot read. He takes the letter and starts making up the things it says, claiming that the soldier's cow is safe at home. When the soldier says he does not have a cow, the others tell him to make up the story and laugh. He reads the letters of the others in the same way and amuses them. In the following scene, we see Katya and the commander talking. The two seem attracted to each other, but do not admit their feelings to each other. Later, Sergei tells the commander that he worked in the battalion as a medic and begins to introduce himself as such. But then the boy sees that one of the soldiers' posts was destroyed in the attack. The commander teaches him to take off his hat to pay respect to the dead soldier. The next day, he insists that the commander gives him an assignment, and he is given the task of distributing the letters among the soldiers. He does his job efficiently, and even gets the soldiers to dance for him. The next day, Sergei goes a little way from the base with his binoculars. As he plays with them, he sees someone's leg move in a haystack. He rushes back to the battalion and tells the soldiers about his find. The soldiers are skeptical, but go along with the boy anyway. When they arrive near the haystack, they are alerted to the fact that 2 German spies are hiding underneath. The spies are arrested, and the kid is praised for his intelligence. That night, the commander shows Sergei the legal papers for his adoption. He is now officially the kid's father. Sergei knows of the commander's feelings for Katya, so, to repay his kindness, he takes him to confess to her. The two see her talking to a different man, and wrongfully assume she is interested in someone else. The base is attacked by the Germans again. This time, Sergei helps the soldiers with all his might, by supplying ammunition to the soldiers in the front line. But the soldiers there command him to go back to the shed because it is too dangerous outside. When he comes to the shed, he sees the commander and others panicking because the phone's connection with the colonel is lost. A soldier is sent to fix the broken wires. Sergei follows the soldier and sees he has been fatally wounded. He asks the dying soldier how he can fix the wires and does it himself. The connection comes back and more troops are called. The 6-year-old saves everyone's life. Later, we see the commander and Katya talking by the river. The commander finally confesses his love for her and asks her to be Sergei's mother. Katya is over the moon, but before she can say anything, a soldier approaches them and gives the commander a letter, saying they have been dispatched from the base. The following day, all the soldiers leave for their new base along with Sergei. However, on their way, they come across a minefield that blows off some of their vehicles. The commander is hurt, while the group's orderly, who Sergei was close with, dies in the explosion. He cries and hugs the commander. They carry the injured ones with them and continue their journey to their new base. When they finally reach the other base, they meet the commander's leader, the general. He too is impressed by the kid's ambition and congratulates the commander for having such a smart kid. The following day, their division is awarded a guard's banner, and so is the boy. He promises to save his country, where the general gives him his badge. One night, their base is attacked brutally, and the commander is trapped under the ruins. Sergei cries for his father and tries to save him. He calls the other soldiers, who finally bring the commander out. The next day, Sergei approaches an injured commander. His hands were hurt while trying to save the commander. The kid is now an inseparable part of the team. He doesn't have a family beside them and moves wherever they go in the war. The movie ends as the regiment is seen moving to another base. A voice in the background narrates that he even took part in the Stalingrad battle and reached Poland with the soldiers. He is currently known as the world's youngest soldier ever, and the legendary story of his bravery is now spread for the whole world to hear. Subscribe for more videos like this and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.